What products do cashiers silently judge people for buying? Had a teenage girl come in with several members of her family. They all came up to the counter practically in tears and bought a pregnancy test. She then went into our bathroom to take the test, which I thought was odd, seemed like the kind of thing you'd do in the sanctity of your own home. Then the girl comes out bawling, and then her family starts bawling, and they're making a huge scene in the middle of my store. It was super duper awkward. When guys buy feminine hygiene products and have to explain that it's for his girlfriend. Dude, nobody thinks you are buying tampons for yourself. Yep, I wouldn't do it when I was younger, but when I hit my mid-20s, I realized how freaking dumb I was being. Need some enemas and tampons and nail polish? I'll pick that crap up from the store for you. Just expect me to get the wrong brands, or the right brand with the wrong product, but I'll try to get it right. Once you realize you'll probably never talk to or meet 99% of the people you ever see again, it makes doing stuff like this a lot easier. I work in a bookstore. I've had people red with shame while they bought 50 Shades of Grey and make comments about how I must think they're idiots. Look, I don't give a crap about what you buy. At least you're reading and keeping my store open. Do you also get the weakly old men who proudly slap down their adult magazine on the counter? I used to work for Borders, and those were always the nicest old men. No creepers. Every time I buy lube, I always get this feeling that the cashier thinks I'm buying it for butt stuff. Same feeling whenever I buy double-ended, penetrative adult toys. One of our customers buys anywhere from 25 to 32 bottles of laxatives a week. Every week, and not the oral kind either. Maybe he cares for a giant family of surprisingly healthy smack addicts. Despite the fact that it contains mention of a crippling substance addiction, the last suggestion was strangely wholesome, don't you think? I don't judge, but I get some good stories. I saw a guy in the contraception aisle looking absolutely baffled at the wide variety of jimmies. I'm a pharmacist and went to help. With an inward sigh, some people have no idea how to use them. He said, "I have no idea what I'm looking at. There are so many. I've been fixed for almost 20 years. But my boy's going to college and I don't want him bringing STDs or any babies home with him." He got really excited when I told him about spermicide and bought 5 to 6 dozen-count boxes. That's a good dad. Okay, quick story. I have an ultra-conservative Asian mom who never even mentioned doing the deed, ever. When I got out of boot camp to my first duty station, everyone was getting care packages from home, cookies, civilian clothes, etc. I got one from my mom. It was about 100 jimmies. Assorted boxes with a note saying, "Please be safe and we will never talk about this package again. Love, Mom." Bracelets that harness the healing energy of magnets. Yeah, well, joke's on you. Blood has iron and is magnetic, and I have the power of science and the Lord. Freshman year of high school, I was a cashier at a local grocery store. There was an upscale organic cupcake boutique in town that sold their cupcakes for about $4 each. It was ridiculous, but people still bought them. Anyway, the owner would come in every other week and buy about 20 boxes of Betty Crocker cupcake mix and frosting. She must have had like a 2,000% rate of return on those things. The cupcake boutique has since gone out of business, and the lady was an annoying soccer mum in her mid-30s, so who cares? I cashiered at Home Depot. Had a dude in his mid-20s pull up to my register with rope, duct tape, cleaning gloves, tarp, bleach, Febreze, cookies, bucket, and sponges. I rung him up. I didn't even know what he'd purchased until he came back in and just said, "Dude, I could be planning a murder and you didn't even care. What the frick? I just lost $20. Then he went to return everything except the cookies. True story. And yes, Home Depot sells cookies. They're like right next to all the chips and sodas. They're those 98-cent grandma cookies that come in packs of 2. Them things are just straight fire. Real murderers use self-checkout. Sir, I make minimum wage. They do not pay me enough to care about what you're doing with that rope and tarp. I got judged by a cashier once. I was working in a welding and fabrication facility at the time as a repair guy. Since I wasn't one of the welders, I would often get tasked with whatever needed doing. The particular job at the time required ultrasonic testing of bends made in some tubing to ensure proper wall thickness. We had one tube of ultrasound gel. Sure enough, the tube got knocked off the table and run over by a forklift. The job was very time-critical and we needed to do the ultrasounds now. A good substitute for ultrasonic gel is KY. I grabbed a fistful of petty cash and rushed over to a nearby grocery store and grabbed every tube of KY they had. I then ran up to the cashier, who then rung up tube after tube after tube. I was in such a rush that I really hadn't thought about the normal use of KY. As she was looking at me oddly and silently ringing up my purchase, I said something like, "It has been crazy at work today." The look on her face was priceless. Halfway out of the parking lot, I realized what had happened. We all had a good laugh about it at work, and I had the nickname KY for a few days. When parents with very overweight kids buy nothing but junk food. Do you judge people who are high and buy junk food? I worry sometimes. Also, can you tell I'm high when I do it? Usually, after you leave, my coworkers and I will comment about how stoned the last guy was. We'll laugh briefly and get on with our lives. We don't judge you, we mostly envy you. People being on Mary J were the easiest customers I had to deal with on the night shift. Drunks were the worst. I think we banned the wrong recreational substance. This isn't exactly the same thing, but I used to work at AutoZone. One day a customer came in and asked if there were any deals on our strongest antifreeze. I asked him if he meant the lowest temperature rating and he said no, the one with the most ethylene glycol. I was really confused and asked him what he needed it for, and he told me it was because his neighbor's kid just got kittens and they were trespassing on his property. I excused myself and went back to my boss, the store manager, and told him, and he told me I had to make the sale. I had to sell him 4 gallons of antifreeze to kill some defenseless kittens and absolutely crush his neighbor's kids. I never tried to say I hate anybody and I never wish anybody harm, but yeah, him. Not a cashier, but I worked in fulfillment for Amazon for 4 years. I can't tell you how many times I've checked out the name on the label for a shipment of questionable combinations. Memorable shipments include lube and an adult toy plus a baby Einstein video, 16 bottles of laxatives and adult diapers. Anytime someone orders Thai Rent Girls 101, what you must know about doing the deed and paying for it before coming to Thailand. In conclusion, don't ever think that buying something online means that you escape the judgment of others. I've often thought about that. I shop for several family members via my Prime account. I like getting add-on items when I can do, and do not like having items coming in all week at random, so I try to group my purchases. I've ordered combinations such as cinnamon sticks, multi-pack jimmies, mouthwash, birthday candles, tarps, and hemorrhoid ointment. Now I know someone is looking at these orders and thinking, what the frick? I mean, at least you're escaping the withering face-to-face judgment. Surely that counts for something. A Vietnamese lady came in a day after Valentine's Day to buy candy. She bought hundreds of bags. I made a joke about how the dentist bill must be insane, and she told me how she sends the candy to orphan homes in Vietnam because they don't have candy there, apparently. Ugh, don't judge a book by its cover, guys. Picture it. October 31st, 1974. My mum sends 11-year-old me to the store for a bag of apples, and my dad needs Gillette razor blades. The cashier looks at me like I just took a dump on her conveyor belt. Not a cashier, but I do have a story. I got rectal cancer at age 28. I had my rectum removed. During recovery, I became completely incontinent, so I had to start wearing Depends, a kind of diaper. Just for clarity, I'm a tall, skinny, relatively well-dressed young woman. The teenage boy checking me out at Walmart let out a quiet, "damn," when he bagged them. Dude, I just assume your grandma sent you to the store. I've bought them a few times and it was always for my grandma and I've never thought twice about it. The only time I really judged someone was when he came in and found a perfume he liked and bought 2. I said it would probably be a good idea if you have 2 women in your life, thinking wife, mother, daughter, etc., to get them something different. He said, "Oh no, one's my wife, the other's for my girlfriend. If they wear the same perfume, I don't have to worry about my wife smelling my girlfriend's perfume on me." I mean, that's smart, but it's also so crappy. Once went into a Victoria's Secret to buy a Valentine's gift for my girlfriend. The cashier asked me, "Would you like to join the Bra of the Month Club?" I asked her what that was and she said, not knowing if I was married or not, "You get 1 bra shipped to you every month which you can give to your wife or girlfriend?" I said, "Can I get 1 for each of them?" And she looked at me kind of horrified until I started laughing. The only people I silently judge are the ones trying to make up a reason for me to not silently judge them. So what if you eat that whole cake by yourself? Live a little! A cashier once talked crap to my grandma when she bought pig's feet. I think they're gross too, but I don't want you talking crap to my grandma about how gross they are. Mind your business. When my friend would buy Depends, you could tell the cashier and everyone in line would judge him hard. He was a 23-year-old college kid who still peed the bed when he drank. He tried his best, man. No, he didn't wear them to parties. He tried to remember to put them on when he drunkenly got home. This led to him putting them on backwards multiple times. This effectively kept the pee out of his diaper and in his bed. Once he forgot to put them on and brought a girl home. Let's just say he convinced her that he drunkenly showered in the middle of the night. Her ride home must have been mortified. He's not my friend anymore, by the way. You can submit your own stories to be featured here on the channel. The story submission link is in the description below. And if you want to listen to some vibey music in the background, check out Easy Mode, also linked below, and subscribe. I'm a clerk at a convenience store, not something I judge harshly for, but something I've noticed and I think is funny: teenagers buying protection. Most adults buying contraception just come in, grab the jimmies, pay for them, and leave. Most people are doing the deed, and adults realize that no one cares. Teenagers buying jimmies are super awkward about it though. Typical scenario: a couple comes in and they look like they're about 15 or 16. The girl hangs out by the front door, looking around awkwardly or just staring at her phone. The boy will walk up and down the candy aisle, candy on one side, health and beauty stuff on the opposite side, pretending to look at the candy, but keeping looking at the condoms to try and see what the selection is without looking like he's looking at jimmies. Bonus awkwardness if he texts his girlfriend to ask her opinion while she's standing right in front of me waiting. He'll then grab the absolute cheapest piece of candy he can find, and a box of Trojan fire and ice, every time. The way the kid wants it to look is, I dragged my girlfriend down because I absolutely needed a single lemon head right this second, but I suppose I'll grab jimmies while I'm here. Then, after one of them pays, they'll quickly walk away with their heads huddled together, acting like they just got away with something. I always want to tell them that they don't have to treat it like something shady or sordid, and that no one gives a crap, but I'm happy they're using protection, and I worry that even mentioning it would embarrass them so much that they wouldn't come in next time. Every time this question comes up, I wonder, what makes you think I think anything about you? I think about my feet hurting, my back aching, and how long until my shift ends. You? Not so much. I'm a cashier, and this is it. The only time I think about the customers is when they're doing something actually annoying. So if you're not licking your fingers before touching the bills, being super critical about how I do things, telling me the same dumb joke I've already heard 5 times this shift, or anything generally annoying, I don't care what you buy. Or sneezing into your wad of cash, or pulling it from a sweaty crack of your body, or giving me all the soda-soaked change from your cup holders. The only time I can remember having a thought about a customer was when they brought our camouflage print lingerie with pink edging. I honestly couldn't care less if they wanted to buy it, even though I thought it was hideous, but while folding it, I couldn't get over how itchy that fabric was. I was curious about why someone would subject themselves to that. My shopping habits were judged by a cashier when I was 14. My music teacher sent me to the store for unlubricated jimmies. They're a way of keeping actors' sweat from damaging body microphones. It was a small town and the cashier knew me. She was horrified about what I was buying, and before I could explain, she insisted on calling my mother to let her know I was doing the deed. I then got to explain in a very loud voice that I was a virgin and they were for microphones. Even if I had been buying them for other stuff, I would think the smarter move on her part would be to sell them to me. If teenagers decided to do the deed, then they're going to do it regardless of how adults feel. Public shaming and denying them protection is not going to stop the deed, but can lead to other consequences. This is the correct attitude to the sheer inevitability of teens doing the deed, regardless of what the adults in their lives think about it. If they're gonna do it anyway, just make sure they're being safe. I used to work at a local pharmacy and a regular customer came in. The only items he purchased were a wrist brace and a tube of KY jelly. He must have noticed me looking at the items and he said, "I swear these are unrelated. Whatever helps you sleep at night, dude." When parents get angry at their kids for wanting a 50-pack of stickers or some cheap child's magazine, saying, "We don't have enough money for that," while paying for cigarettes and lottery tickets. Sometimes I just lie to my kids about not having money because we have so much of this random crap at home that I think I'm going to scream every time I open a drawer in the kitchen. As a parent of 6-year-old twins, I could not agree with you more. It's like every gosh darn step I take, I'm stepping on a coloring book or a random pack of some kind of bullcrap that I just said, "Fine, you can get it if you just shut the heck up about it." I used to work at Save-A-Lot as a cashier. Our client base tended to be a little lower on the economic ladder. At the first of the month, when the benefits get loaded to their cards, I always hated to see people push up a cart full of soda, chips, etc. These people also usually tended to be in poor health. I didn't really judge them, I more felt sad for them. I also didn't like seeing people who would come in with the PIN number for their card on a piece of paper. It was a small town, I know that wasn't your card. I didn't hold it against the people who had the misappropriated card, but more against the people who sold their $300 worth of food stamps for $150 so they could buy alcohol, cigs, substances, etc. The sad part was, a lot of the people selling had kids. I learned the other day that you can apparently get judged for buying alcohol at 7 a.m. The cashier was pretty vocal about it, and if I wasn't so non-confrontational, I would have told a manager. She flat out said something along the lines of, "It's a little too early for boozing up, don't you think?" 1. None of your business if I'm drinking early in the morning. 2. It was on sale during my routine trip to get milk and such. Am I supposed to just leave it and come back after 5 p.m. to buy my alcohol? However, when I got home, I realized how my entire purchase looked. I got milk, chocolate milk, Lunchables, also on sale, and a strawberry daiquiri. She probably thought I had kids or something, so I understand her concern. Kind of. She didn't have to say anything though, it really struck a nerve. That is so dumb. Just because you're buying alcohol at 7 in the morning doesn't mean you're going to go home and drink it immediately. Do you buy a week's worth of groceries and go home to eat it all right away? No! When contractors or painters would buy America's Finest or Speedwall paint, I assume they're overcharging a family or company by getting the cheapest paint possible. I'm not a painter, I'm a roofer, but hear me out. If I was to do every roof with top-of-the-line materials at every stage, I would be bankrupting families left and right. The construction game has changed a lot even in the short decade I've been playing, and the market is flooded with all sorts of products that may or may not be worth it. Navigating that minefield is supposed to be my job. I try to take homeowners by the hand, break the news to them that they can't afford Mike Homes, and present their tiered options. But sometimes they're convinced they know more than you. They're a retired contractor who has never seen the new products, or they watch a lot of DIY Network, or they helped somebody build a deck. They're convinced that you're trying to sell them on bullcrap to pad your bottom line, and they will insist on the cheapest option, then cut things out of it. Underlayment? Don't need it. New flashing? Too expensive. Rotten eaves? We've got some wood lying around. Fiberglass shingles? What are you, a commie? Not because they can't afford better, but because they think you're trying to cheat them. And so I wind up at the lumberyard because I can't force them to do it my way, putting in bullcrap orders because that's all they're going to pay for. We sell Batman underwear that comes with an underwear cape at my work. I always have a little bit of judgment when those come through my line. Also, when old people buy leggings. Oh my god, my parents bought me these undies for Christmas. I'm 26. Actually, they are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version. But what do you do with the cape? You can't wear these under anything because the cape bunches. Am I supposed to wear these over my pants? I feel bad removing the cape portion, so I've left it on so far. Not a cashier, but I shop at Whole Foods. Invariably, there will be someone in front of me. She will have some $30 snake oil supplement and an overloaded container of prepared food, the kind where you pay by the pound. She will pull out cash as she's rung up and realize that she doesn't have enough to cover both, so she takes out the snake oil and leaves the food, which cannot be resold. I assume not only is she a moron for buying that crappy supplement, but is hoping the cashier will let her keep the food once it's been voided, since it's going into the trash. As a former Whole Foods employee, these people are infuriating. Wife was buying stuff for camping: hatchet, rope, some duct tape for the hole in the tent, small shovel and matches. The cashier was looking at her and she bursts out, "Husband teed me off for the last time." The cashier's eyes bugged out and he just let her go. Wife and daughter come out and are laughing and crying. On Mother's Day, a young guy, probably too young to have kids of his own, checked out with a Mother's Day card and a box of Jimmies. I said, "You must really love your mom." And he said, "Oh God, I didn't even realize." I work at a golf course and a medium bucket costs $7 for 40 balls, while a jumbo is $13 for 100 balls. When people come in and get 2 mediums for $14, it instantly makes me think they're idiots. In case you're dumb too, 2 mediums is $1 more for 20 less balls. Ha! I work in a small hardware store, and if someone comes in to buy a plunger, and sometimes it's these young women, I wonder if they're the ones who just took a big enough crap to clog up their toilet and have to come in to get a plunger. I've had to buy a few pregnancy tests in my time, and I always switch the diamond ring my boyfriend bought me to my left hand so I don't get a look of pity. Just so you think I'm not crazy, I have a really irregular period. Sometimes it'll skip a month, sometimes I'll get 2 in 1 month, but the point is I'm on no schedule, so I have to take pregnancy tests a lot because I'm not sure if it's my weird period or pregnancy. I work at a gaming store. Anytime someone buys plastic sleeves with artwork for their cards, I judge them hardcore. They're a great seller, but I hate them. In college, I worked at a pharmacy at the camera counter. I didn't do most of the cashiering, but did occasionally. Here is a combination of items purchased by one customer that caused me to raise an eyebrow: chocolate syrup, Astroglide, children's toy handcuffs. I don't really care what you're buying, but if you buy a huge box of Jimmy's and a big bottle of lube and change your mind at the last second that you don't want it, F you. Now I have to walk around the store doing returns with those things in my hands. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, or if you want some vibey music to put on in the background, check out Easy Mode. If you like Am I the Genius, give Am I the Jerk a shot. Everything linked in the description.